Good morning, Buffalo. You're listening to the Buffalo You Up podcast. My name is Brian Dudeman. Right now, I'd like to introduce my lovely co-host, Harry Nicole.
Oh, me. Yes. Hi, dude, man. I am Ari Nicole, and I am always happy to be with you here on the Buffalo View Up podcast. So, dude, man, are you up?
I'm always up. I'm always ready to podcast with one of my favorite people, Ari. Honestly, thank you so much again. This has been a wonderful season, one of our best, and couldn't do without you.
This is definitely one of the highlights of my weekday adventures, and I gotta say we have had some phenomenal guests, including our guest here today, another one of our favorite people.
So, what I like to do right now is introduce our guest. So, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Heather Dunham.
Heather, what are your titles? What are your hats? What do you do in the Buffalo film community?
I do a lot of everything. I act, I model, I'm an artist. I'll write if I need to. I'm not terribly passionate about writing. I'm instrumental, but I find I'm not very fluent in instrumental type things unless I'm doing it regularly, so I don't tend to have the time to commit to instruments, but I can do many things. It's just a matter of what I'm currently working on and what I'm practiced up at.
So that's a great segue. Right now, I'd like to get into fan mail. So the way fan mail works is you guys send in your questions. We'll read it right here in the air. Guests will answer. So without further ado, Ari Nicole, you please ask the first question.
Let's see what I have here. So, this question is from a film fan for life. What's your most favorite production you've worked on so far, and why?
Yeah, I don't really like to pick one overall favorite. I feel like I have a reason to love everything I've been on. At the moment, it's hard for me to even like procure things that I've done. Like, can I look at my IMDb? That reminds me of something that Eminem said once. Like him and another rapper were talking. They were like, "Do you ever Google your own lyrics?" It's like, yeah. It's like, oh, I knew that sounded fire. I already wrote it. I don't even remember everything I've done, to be honest. If it's more specific, like, I don't know, what's something you learned from this or that?
Your favorite experience from a recent production?
Something that was cool about Tied Up was that that location was bought for like the night, but we only needed it for like the shooting day. And so I ended up staying, like Travis gave it to my sister and I to just stay at overnight. So we got to stay in this luxurious like Curtis hotel. It felt very fancy. I'm like, I feel like a real actor for once. Being put up in a fancy hotel just to utilize what was already paid for. So that was fun.
Luke 26 Lancaster, are there any roles that you've had a hard time relating or emphasizing with the character?
Yes, but it was a result of not knowing my brand. I don't think it could happen again unless someone like sprung a change on me at the last moment. I don't think I'd accept a role that I didn't align with at this point in my career. The character that I play is motivated by love, and there's a lot of leeway there. You can justify just about anything because of love, and I don't know. I've accepted roles that are just basically focused on my look, modeling. I just find them bland. I definitely need the backstory, the motive, the what is it I'm in love with to like drive my character. So I figured that out. So
It's interesting that you mentioned that about not being able to play certain characters that you can't connect from, or at least, see from their point of view, because I was just having this conversation earlier today with a friend of mine before coming here. And I was talking about a recent role that I played where I went after somebody that deserved it, and that's just how we're going to put it, but I could never play a character that would harm innocent creatures, whether they be humans or animals.
Yeah.
Because for me, I could not, like, for example, Cruella de Vil.
Okay.
I don't think I could play her character because I cannot connect with that mindset that fur must be worn so much to hurt innocent animals because of it. I just would not be able to connect enough to be able to
Yeah, and it's important to
be
recognize
that type of character. So I love that you brought that up because, I can relate.
Perfect. Love that.
Let's see what I have here. This is from Big Time Actor via Instagram. Oh, kind of similar to what we were talking about. What's the most favorite role you have ever played so far and why? So if you don't have a favorite, maybe like something like about a certain character that you played.
So something that I love to focus on is change and transitions. Like I want to see how a character develops over time, and the more time you get to do that, the more detailed you can be. So that's something that I loved about my character Erin in Paladin the Brotherhood. That's probably the longest running series that I've done, and I love Erin's growth through it. She's hundreds of years old and is, even as an elder and leader, making mistakes and has to learn. So it was really interesting for me to see like how the best of the best can still overcome challenges. And
that sounds very interesting. Gonna have to look that one up.
yeah, she ends up making a decision that costs someone their life. So her whole arc is how to change based on that, because it grows heavy on her.
Adam, 52, Rochester. So every year that there's a Buffalo 48, one of my favorite teams to watch is Bad Apples. You guys always seem to bring it. I always remember Buds and the Fairy Tale one. Which one's your favorite of the 48s that you guys have done over the years?
I think the one that stands out for me is Super Struggles. It's about superheroes who aren't terribly skilled with the powers that they were given, and I just feel like everyone got a great role. No one outshone anyone else. It was a great collaboration, even with like the special effects and everything. Everyone on our team had a very important role to play, and it was just an amazing collaboration. It's also rare that I get to do comedy in Buffalo. I kind of got to with Buds, which is what like our team first got noticed for, I think. But I felt like I had more of a role in Super Struggles. Buds, like, it's kind of more modeling. Like I looked cool like an old lady, but my character was very introverted, so I was just kind of there for most of it. Super Struggles, I really got to be a whole character. I was basically a terrible Deadpool. Everything killed me. So it was a really fun character to play with, and they're just a very funny and inclusive bunch. So I really like when we get to flex our comedy.
Oh, yeah, let's see what I got here. This is from Instagram via I Love Pancakes. What are some of your favorite toppings on your pancakes?
Oh man, I love me a classic like strawberry compote type deal. Really, my preference is French toast. It's a nice strawberry French toast. But pancakes, they're so versatile though. I feel like you can make anything good. But probably strawberries will go classic.
Now I want pancakes.
Tommy, 32, Eastern Hills. So did Kristen have you in mind for infatuation? What, like, did she reach out to you, or is that something that you had an audition for?
She actually did reach out to me. That tends to be the way that I book roles. Very rarely do I audition for something and get it. Usually it's word of mouth. Either someone sees something that someone posted of me or that I posted, and they're like, yes, I could use someone who can do exactly that. Or they just get recommended. Usually filmmakers have filmmaker friends, and they'll say, well, I'm working on this film. Who would you recommend? And then they recommend me. What was interesting about Infatuation specifically is while we were filming, Ty Chaman actually asked Kristen, "This role is so perfect for Heather." And he was like, "Did you write this with her in mind?" And she was like, "Actually, yeah, I did." So I think that's 3 times now I've heard of someone who claimed that they used me as inspiration and then asked me to act in it afterwards.
This one's from Mary, 25, Jamestown, and she writes, "Hey Heather, big time director, big plans. Gonna see your name in the stars. Why should I cast you? I'm a movie director. Why should I cast you to be in one of my films?"
You said her name is Mary?
Yeah.
Well, Mary, I've heard that I'm great to work with, and I have range. I try to leave people better than I found them. When I'm on a set, I'm always thinking, how can I contribute more value to the people here? And what I mean by range is, this was actually first described to me by your friend James, but he was describing how if you take a class, any kind of acting class, what you're doing is you're filling a pitcher. It's like you are the pitcher, and the class fills that, and you can use whatever methods you want to mimic a character or relate to a character, develop a character. But all it's doing is filling your pitcher. After your pitcher is full, the only way to get better is to get a bigger pitcher. And the only way to get a bigger pitcher is to live more life. And I feel like that's why I stand out in comparison to people who have taken a lot of classes, because I really haven't. I've taken one intro to improv class because I felt like I could improve on improv. But other than that, like, never taken a class in my life. But I feel like the class that I did take was the class of life. There aren't many things left that I haven't tried. I feel like I've lived 1,000 lives. I've been married. I've been divorced. I've lived in an office building when I didn't have a place to live. I've done a lot. So there isn't much left that I can't relate to. I've been driven to the point of mania with manic laughter, where I related to the Joker in a way I never wanted to.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was a sorry as in, like, I'm going to speak. Like, sorry to interrupt, but okay.
No, I mean, sorry, because...
No, it's okay. It's just, like, pretty much any role you can hand to me, I can find a way to relate to it and put it through the filter of Heather. This is what Heather would do in this scenario, so...
Yeah, so that's been a great edition of Fan Mail. Guys, if you want your questions asked on this podcast, please send them out to our Instagram or our Facebook. We are going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Brian Dudeman, my co-host.
Ari Nicole.
And we'll be right back.
And we're back. Buffalo, you up? I am Ari Nicole, and I am here with my co-host.
Dudeman, hey. How are you doing, Buffalo? I am up. Ari, you still up?
I am, at least for the moment being, excited to be here with our guest.
Heather Dunham.
Yeah. Animated hello.
Animated hello.
So this is the segment of our show we call Plug Yourself, where we want to hear anywhere and everywhere that we can find you. So do you have any videos on DVD that we can pick up? Do you have any online websites where we can stream your work? Do you have an Instagram where we can follow you and your photos? Where in the world is Heather Dunham?
I am everywhere and anywhere all the time. Probably the easiest thing to do is catch me on Instagram. That's probably the only place I actively hang out in the social media world. If you want to contact me, that's a great place to do it. And that would be animated.hello is my username there. And in that profile, you will find my link tree, which isn't a link tree. It's called a milkshake. It's just, it allows a little more customization than a link tree, so I like it. I have a little bio in there and all of my relevant links where you can see past work and, yeah. There's a lot of things I'm working on that I'd like to talk about, but I don't know. Is there more back and forth here, or do I just talk forever?
Yes, tell us more. Tell us more. We know there's more.
Well, the things that I'm excited about working on right now, I kind of have many things that came to a head literally today. The only artwork that I've done this year is for Blade Games, which is a movie. It's actually not the first time that I have done artwork for a movie, is it, Dude Man?
That's me. Yeah, the Allison and the Killjoys poster that is behind every guest that is on every episode of this podcast this season is made by Heather. It was for a short film, West End Girls. It's gonna be done one day. I promise.
Fair enough. I actually really loved that piece because it challenged me. I tend to be a very detailed artist, so the fact that you wanted a cartoon really challenged me in minimalism. Like, I've kept finding myself overdrawing and having to erase and cut back again. I'm like, how can I depict a whole face with 3 lines? But I was really happy with the end product and the fact that I felt like I grew afterwards because I wasn't much of a cartoonist before that. So, but the piece that I just did was for Blade Games by Charles Bowen. Colin Arend is actually the lead in that series, and it's going to be something of a treasure hunt, which is exciting. And the audience can play along with their own treasure hunt. I'm excited for it. But you'll see some of my art in that film. It's kind of me and Jason Beebe both have pieces of art in that, and they're going to be they're an important prop in the series, I guess I'll say that. So I actually just came from dropping that piece off to Charles just now. That's why I was in Batavia as we were meeting up to do that exchange. And then I also just joined the Robin Stunt team, which I know you're talking to Brian Varney about. So I just saw him in class. He was helping with armory. I really love that about the Robin Stunt team is it feels like a family right off the bat. Like, Charles is very inclusive. I love that he seems to operate with something of a no man left behind kind of thing. Like, when Brian got hurt, he didn't say, well, you can't do stunts for a while. He put him at the tables to talk to people. He was like, well, you're learning armory, like anything that didn't require having a leg. So I really like that about that team. I felt very safe. The communication was great. Very good experience. I'm excited to have stunts on the old resume. So, and a reason that came to a head today is I just got my stunt reel back today. So
Nice.
Hopefully I'll be posting that soon. Follow me at animated.hello to see the content. And then something else I'm excited about that will be done one day, because I'm in the same boat as you, Dude Man. I shot some scenes they're meant for my reel, but of course, like, I wanted to tell a cohesive story in each scene, so they could probably be standalone shorts as well. I shot some in January. They are also in post, and it's just a matter of me finding time to edit, but one day. I'm hoping that a year doesn't pass without one being done. The first one I'm going to do is called Cobbled. It's a restaurant scene. I want to have that one done by January, so keep an eye out for that. And then the last thing that I'm excited about is I was approved to be an Amazon influencer. I would love if anyone wanted to follow me on Amazon. It's just amazon.com/shop/animated.hello, just like Instagram. I actually was approved for Amazon influencer through Instagram. So if you follow like the products section of the links in my bio, the products section will take you to my Amazon influencer. And I'm excited about that because it's allowing me to create income that is more flexible so that I can become full-time freelance rather than being glued to a full-time location job. I love my job, but it takes 40 hours of my life away. So
tell me a little more about this Amazon influencer thing. Does it mean you have to like shop from Amazon?
So there's 2 ways you can earn on Amazon influencer. There's off-site commissions, which is what you get approved for first. You have to have a following elsewhere to get approved for it. And once you do that, you can start earning off-site commissions, which is probably what people are more familiar with like affiliate links. If you drive traffic to a product and they buy, then you make a commission on that. But what's cool that I also got approved for is on-site commissions, which is people already on Amazon, shopping on Amazon, can look at your videos to like educate them about products, and if your video convinces them to make a buying decision, then you earn a commission on that.
What I love about your Amazon ads is that you make the videos, you create them yourselves, so you'll like write it like, here's how I want it to go. And they're quick, but they're fun. I love your hello friends.
I try to throw in my little animated hello.
Love the parody one that Nate did.
Yeah, that's a great one. He pretended to be me. What I love about it too is that I learn a lot like working with the business owners, because they link all of your contact information. If you want to, you can link like your Instagram to your Amazon influencer, and like then businesses who like your videos and want you to make a video will contact you and say, can I pay you to make a video about my product? And it's cool because a lot of them have like entire marketing teams, and they'll send you like the points that they want to have covered. So you start learning like how to sell products, and then people that might not know as much about marketing but want a video, like you can then educate them based on what you learned from the people with big budgets, and then you look really cool to the small budget people. And
So like I said, I love your Amazon ads because they're fun. They have that animated hello touch.
Anyone intelligent with what they're doing knows that like very rarely, sometimes for spokesperson gigs where I'm like explaining a service, like I did, I don't know, sometimes I do scripted things, but most of the time I get like a list of points to cover, and they want you to use your own personality. And like that's the whole point of influencers, that you deliver things in your own style. So they're like, as long as you cover like these points, deliver it however you like. So
I would agree with what you just said, because I think I helped you like 2 years ago do an ad for something. It wasn't Amazon, but it was like some ad, and you like made it a Heather kind of video, because like usually ads I just skip. I'm being completely honest, but like when I watch an Heather one, there's enough fun of your personality that I'm like, I'm gonna keep watching, not skip. So
that makes me really happy. That's a major thing I like to bring to my ads, is fun. I found a lot of sales is simply education. Like not everyone is going to be your customer for everything, but if you can educate people on what a product does and who the right customer is for it, then they can make the call whether they're that person or not. But it really comes down to, are they enjoying watching you and learning about the product?
Heather, you have a great voice for radio. You have ever heard that? So, question. You've done fake ads, right?
Absolutely. I loved doing fake ads for you. It really helped me get started in voice, just like it did for our girl Mercedes Lewis, who just got signed. Very excited for her. I actually put a gig up on Fiverr, which is where I find a lot of business owners for my ad work. I made a gig for voiceover work specifically, and I got my first one for a YouTube channel that sounds like they want to do kind of Animal Planet style type things. So I did voiceover of a panda video, and she said she'd let me know when she posts it, but it was really fun being like, this is a baby panda and this is what they do and why. So things I did within the past year include Tied Up. Travis is kind of doing the same thing that I did with the scenes that I shot in January. He was making scenes for his reel. He casted me as his co-star. And so that was pretty much just helping him develop his reel, but it ended up really helping mine too. I actually had more lines than he did in that one. But it was very fun. I got a cool twist for that character, which is what I really love. You get an impression that she is something the whole time, and then she ends up being something else entirely. And then I did, Infatuation with Kristen Skeet and Ty Chaman. That one, I believe, is still circulating festivals. I've been meaning to reach out to Kristen to see where that one's at, because last I knew it was going to be released after Buffalo Dreams, but I don't know if she's decided to put it into more festivals or not. So, not sure the status on that one, but that one was also very fun. There's a fun twist in that one. I did several shorts for Skeleton Xylophone, which was with the September Brothers. I was in Karen, where I played a post-apocalyptic manager. It was kind of a funny setting for a Karen versus the manager, and I played the manager. Christina Santiago was the Karen in the situation. Very very comedic. I love the audience that the September Brothers pull. Like, they always fill a theater. It's always like, it's shenanigans. Like, I feel like a lot of people would say that they don't make real films. They're very YouTubey, very like, it's not serious, but that's exactly what's amazing about it. Is it's just fun. And then one of them was written by Paul McGuinness. It was Dingus Day. That was another short that was in that compilation of Skeleton Xylophone. So I think the purpose behind the shorts is to pitch scripts to people. So they shoot like concepts basically, and then with hopes to get picked up, like Killer Rack did. So they're trying to just crank out a bunch of those and see what sticks. I believe they are making Dingus Day into a full feature. And then I did Deadline, which is a woman pressuring a man to finish writing a script. It's pretty serious, but there's a comedic edge to it as well. There's another good twist that is kind of a funny twist in this case rather than a dramatic one. But I did that with Richard Fish. I'm sure that he talked about it as well. But that was a lot of fun. I got a lot of embarrassing behind-the-scenes footage of Richard, and I'll post it.
Yes.
And that's about all I've got for now.
Cool. Now we're going to switch things up, and we got like 5 minutes for this. So this is a hero's journey. So basically what I ask is the filmmaker, so if that's an actor or writer or whatever, how they got their start in film. So what I want to know from you, Heather.
How did I get started in film? Well, I was always in the arts as a kid. Like, growing up, I was in dance, I was in theater, I was in art class, choir, violin, all of it. I like performing, always have. But I never even saw it as a career option. Like, my entire mindset was, you go to school, you get a logical career, and like the rest is a hobby. It wasn't even a question for me. So I did that. I went to school. I got my career at Tesla, nice and science-based and practical. And then I was like, now what? So I'm driving home from school one day, and I see driving home from work one day, and I see a school bus on fire.
A school bus on fire?
And that got my attention. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? And then I saw the cameras, and I was like, oh yeah, The Purge is filming on my street. And pretty much my whole life, I've been approached by photographers for time for print kinds of gigs. Actually, as a kid, the photographer at Walmart asked my mom if he could enter my photos into like contests, and she said no because she didn't want that life for me. So I ended up getting into it when I was approached as a teenager. But I had all these headshots lying around, and I was like, why don't I just submit them and see what happens? And next thing I know, I'm on the set of The Purge, in background holding with hundreds of other actors. And when you're just, the whole idea of background work is hurry up and wait. Like, when they're ready to go, you better be ready to go. But the rest of the time, you're sitting around all day doing nothing. So you end up naturally networking with lots of other actors. And I've just found that each gig leads to 3 more since then. And it's just kind of snowballed from there.
And you've done Buffalo 48, so I think that helped you meet more people as well.
That's true. What's interesting about the Buffalo 48 is that had nothing to do with the film world to me. Mike Raish was actually a coworker of my ex, And at the time, he was just my ex's friend. Well, he was my boyfriend at the time. So my boyfriend's friend does these fun little videos, and they work at Apple together. So the team was just a bunch of people who worked at Apple who are passionate about technology and editing. And once a year, they would all get together and do this 48-hour film festival contest where they just try to make the best film they can in 48 hours. They aren't even really in the film community that actively. Like, that's the only thing that they really did. And so that's how I got into it. I didn't realize how big of an impact the Buffalo 48 had as far as the film community went until I got in with The Purge. And then like everyone every year was talking about the Buffalo 48, and I just stuck with the same team who happened to be really good every year. And there were kind of two things happening simultaneously that landed me in the same place, I guess.
And that was a great addition of Plug Yourself and A Hero's Journey. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more.
The nitrogen content of the air is unusually high. That's all.
And this is the part of the show where we do final thoughts. So this is where we ask you what you thought being on the podcast. What advice would you give for a future guest? You're going to be in that seat. And yeah, floor is yours.
My advice for a future guest is to be prepared. You never know who's going to be tuning into a podcast. Make sure you plug what you're excited about. What would you want people to know about? It's very easy to get caught up in the amazing conversations and get a little lost in the sauce. Is that what? No, that means like a substance, right? I don't know. You get lost in thoughts, so it's good to just know your talking points, what you actually want to get covered by the end of it. But it's a very fun podcast to be on. Definitely don't be afraid to be yourself as well.
So this is a part of the podcast episode where we ask the guest if they have a question for either Ari or myself.
A question. Okay. My biggest question is, I was recently talking to a pretty high-end producer, and he was telling me that the biggest opportunity to get a film picked up is to have a scripted podcast, interestingly enough. So I was wondering if he said that he has bought like several stories from podcasts at this point. And so I was wondering if you would ever do a scripted style podcast where it can be a very budget friendly way to bring your scripts to life. I know that you like to write a lot, and I know that I recently did the Gray Matter podcast, and I don't feel that it was lacking in any way due to like not being on screen. Like, it fully told stories. So yeah, would you ever do a scripted story style podcast?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be something that we would do later on for a future season. Because each season I try to add a different news segment, see what works, what doesn't. Because what happened was we did Plug Yourself, but we've had some guests who are like, I'm taking a sabbatical. I'm not doing any filming this year, so I don't have anything to plug. So I'm like, we need another segment, which became A Hero's Journey. I think it's worked for the most part. But again, I always like to like try new things and see what works and just play around.
I know that I would love to be a part of a scripted podcast. They're very fun. You don't have the high level commitment or high budget needed for on-screen type work. You don't have to coordinate as many people. Just whoever can show up whenever can just come record. I think it's a good opportunity. I kind of had a follow-up question. if the Buffalo U Up podcast was a film, what genre would it be? What would that look like?
Mockumentary.
Yeah, okay, I could see that.
I was going to say comedy, but she got specific. I like that. That was a really great answer.
I would like to think of it along the lines of Modern Family.
Great answer. Legitimately.
Yeah, that was quick too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
what genre would that be? Mockumentary, mic drop.
I mean, being psychic sometimes helps answer questions you already know are coming, but not saying I saw that coming. I just, I feel it.
Well, Heather, thank you so much again for being on this podcast. It was 3 years in the making, so I hope that it lived up to the hype.
Thank you for finally getting me on.
All right, well, until next time, Buffalo, I've been Brian Dudeman, my co-host.
Ari Nicole?
And until next time, we just have one question for you, Buffalo. 1, 2, 3.
You
up?